Today's goal is not just learn IAM. By the end, I want you to be able to explain and demonstrate this flow confidently. EC2, then IAM role, then temporary credentials, then S3, without putting an AWS access key on the server. This is extremely cloud engineer relevant. Where you're going to build. Can you turn that off? I can't really concentrate. Bay, can you turn that off? I can't concentrate. Studying. Thank you. You're going to build, you'll create EC2 attach IAM role. Role has a custom least privilege policy. EC2 accesses one specific S3 bucket. Then we intentionally break permissions and troubleshoot it. The biggest concepts today are IAM users versus groups versus roles, authentication versus authorization, identity-based policies, trust policies, allow/denies, action, resource, ARN, least privilege, temporary credentials, S3 bucket versus S3 object permissions, S3 ListBucket, S3 GetObject, S3 PutObject. Understand IAM before touching AWS. First concept, IAM user represents a person/application with a long-term AWS identity. Example, Demetrius could have a username, password, access key, and secret access key. Access key ID and secret access key. We don't want to put an IAM user's access keys on EC2. Why? Because somebody who gets in onto that machine could potentially steal them. IAM role. A role is an AWS identity that can be assumed temporarily. Think EC2 assumes IAM role, receives temporary credentials, accesses AWS resources. AWS rotates those temporary credentials automatically. This is what we're building. So part 2 is create the S3 bucket. Let's put this in split view. How do I want to make this there you go. Alright, create the S3 bucket, go to AWS console, S3. Alright, create a bucket. Wait a minute. Are you going to walk me through every step? Give me like all of the steps. So I'll name the bucket, leave block all public access. Okay, I guess we're using the default settings. Okay, here it is. And then create bucket. So we need to create a test file. I've never created like a folder, so put this inside D4. So let's ask chat, because do I need to create this test file? Because I never made a folder, so just tell me put it inside of a folder that we never made. Give me one moment. It's not let me type. Okay. So we're gonna just create it on our desktop. Alright, so you just create the file. I don't need to do all that. I know it just got created. Alright, cool. Let's go back. Alright, so the folder was created. So what we're doing is we're going to be uploading that file. I said folder. The file was created. We're going to be uploading that file into the S3 bucket. So this is the S3 bucket I just created. We're probably going to press upload in a few and, you know. So now it wants me to SSH into the machine. I kind of forget the name. Is it day 2 private? Yeah, I think it is actually. Not the Bastion. Bastion was the EC2 instance we made on day 1, and day 2 was the instance that we've been SSHing into. So I just SSH'd into it. Get the AWS version. Yep, we see the correct CLI 2.33. Good. We're gonna go ahead and get the identity of this EC2 instance. We're basically verifying if it has an IAM rule already. It says the important lesson is an EC2 instance does not automatically get access to every AWS service just because it runs inside AWS. It's a good note. It's still loading. Well, let's see what happens. Probably go to, I don't know, fail maybe. We shall see. So I'll just give it a minute. Oh, it's not. Yo, what up, bro? I'm today? Right now? Oh, you got me hype. I know. I ended up staying up dumb late. Who'd you go with? Where'd y'all go? Wrecker outside. So is that every Sunday thing? Oh, that's fire. Yeah, it's the church. Yeah, I know what you're talking about though. Okay. I'll be there next week. What happened with Jared? Why didn't he go? That's gonna be hard to get him every Sunday. Oh yeah, facts. She just got back. Yeah, yeah, yeah. What you up to? Okay. Well, Sundays I am there. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock or 10:30. 11. Bet I'll be there. I'll be there. I haven't hooped in forever. It's one court. All right. Yeah, you win. well, I'll try to change that. yeah, yeah. That sounds fun. I'm mad I didn't make it. Yeah, that's a bet. Let me know next week. Yeah, I'm aware now. Now that I know in advance, I'm aware. All right, I'll get him out there. Probably need him. Oh, that's crazy. It be hoopers. Okay. 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 I ain't worried now. Say less. Say less. I'll be there next week. All right, holla at me, bro. Okay, my boy just called me about hooping. Connection timed out. All right. So I did not get connected. Let's see if we can access S3 since we currently have no permissions. So this is gonna fail because we're basically just testing if we have access to the bucket prior to us giving permission. So I expect this to fail. What the freak? It was a fly. It distracted me. It was like crawling on my mouse pad. Give me 1 second. fly has been hiding in my house for a while, so I did just try to go kill it. That's unsuccessful. When I mean a while, I mean like 3 days. Like, it's been in here, it disappears, and then it comes out at the most random times. Like, it's weird. It's like has hiding spots in here. I want to get rid of it. Anyways, so it's still trying to access the S3 bucket, but it's gonna fail. So we're testing this to see if it just fails. I don't think I'm gonna do this test because it's gonna fail, and as you can see, it takes a long time for it to time out, and I don't want to get caught up just watching it fail. So let's go ahead and create the EC2 instance, or the EC2 IAM role while we wait for this. So let's go to IAM. We'll go to roles, create role, and we're going to choose AWS service. I'm going to make this enlarged. AWS service. We're going to go EC2 here. We're going to go create. We're going to go to next. And this is where you start assigning the actual roles. So we don't want to give it broad S3 permissions. We want to give it least privilege. As we all know, least privilege is giving a role just what it needs, so it doesn't have access to things it shouldn't be having access to. So we're going to see if it lets me keep going. We're going to name this role now, day 4 EC2 S3 role, and then we're going to press create. So now we're at IAM. We're going to go to roles, and we should see our role right here, day 4 EC2 S3 role. So now let's go to trust relationships. Let's find it real quick. Where is trust relationships? Do I have to click the role? Yes, you click the role. Trust relationships, and we should see a trust policy involving EC2, Amazon AWS.com. Right here, we have the principal right here. It says allow, and we're allowing it access to EC2s and Amazon AWS. Conceptually, it says EC2 is allowed to assume this role. Exactly. This answers who may use this role. That is different from the permissions policy. The permissions policy answers what may the role do. Remember that. Who can access this role? EC2 instances. What can the role do within that EC2 instance is the permissions policy. So now we're going to actually go back and create a actual policy. So let's go IAM policies, create policy. And we're going to use JSON. And we are going to copy and paste this policy in there. So we're going to put our bucket name here. So again, here it is here with our bucket name. Boom. We're going to copy all that and paste. It's saying, understand those two resource ARNs. Well, this is important. The bucket itself is ARN, AWS, S3, and then the bucket name. Okay. And then objects inside the bucket are /star. So it's the same format. ARN, AWS, S3. So it's telling you it's AWS, S3 bucket. This is the bucket name. /star is everything inside of that bucket. So S3 ListBucket targets the bucket ARN, while S3 GetObject and S3 PutObject, the target is the object RAN. Get it? So ListBucket lists the bucket itself. Objects are GetObject and PutObject. The target object is the object ARN. That's the difference. So you have an ARN for your bucket name, and you have an ARN for the objects within the bucket. Let's Google what ARN means. An ARN stands for Amazon Resource Name. So that's all it is. Amazon Resource Name. Examples were your EC2 instance, S3 bucket, or IAM role unambiguously across all of AWS. So everything is considered an ARN. All right. We're going to save this policy. And we're going to give it the name Day 3 S3 Least Privilege. And we're going to press create. And the policy was created. So now we're going to attach the policy to our role. So let's go back to IAM roles. Go back to this role. And we're going to go to right here is permissions. We're going to add a permission, press attach policy. And we're going to look for the one we just created, but we're going to just type it in. It was day 4. Here it is here. We're going to press check. And we're going to press add permissions. Now the role has permission to list this one bucket, read objects from this bucket, and upload objects to this bucket. Hence, yeah. It does not have administrator access. It does not have full S3 access. That is least privilege. Awesome. You understand? Attach the IAM role to the EC2. Now we plan on attaching this IAM role to our EC2. So let's go to EC2 instances. Then we'll go to actions. Security. I gotta press it. Are we doing this to the public or the private? Actually, that's a good question. Not sure which one we're adding this to. Let's figure it out. Okay, so we're adding it to the public web. Okay, we're adding it to the public one. Okay, I just had to make sure. And go back to our steps. Oh God, it's freezing. All right, let's add the role. Oops, wrong step. Go back. Actions, security, modify IAM role. Okay, add the role, day 4. Come on, man. This shit keep crashing. Alright, it's moving a little smoother. So here we are here. We're going to choose the role, update IAM role. Verify EC2 assume the role. So let's go back to our terminal and run this command. Make sure the EC2 instance actually has it now. Wow, this is still crashing. Alright. See if it has the role. I might reopen terminal just to get it. Yeah, let's reopen that because it's tweaking. SSH back into day 2. And we're going to ask it if it knows, does it have the role, and we're going to watch it. So let's give this another minute. Hopefully this is gonna load, because we're just waiting. You know what? I don't know if this is actually the day one. I don't know if this is right. I don't think that this is the same EC2 instance. We could check it by the IP address, actually. No, this is not. Right. Right, this is our private. Yeah, I thought so. It's not the right. So we need an SSH into day 3 web B. Oh, we have day 1 Bastion. I think ChatGPT got our naming conventions wrong. There we go. There we go. That's the right IP address. There we go. Now this makes sense. Now we're going to ask it, does it have the correct IAM role? And as we see, it does. Okay, good. So we were SSHing into our private EC2 instance that does not have internet gateway set up, or it does not have an identity, an IAM identity. So yeah, it is our Bastion is named day 1 Bastion within our SSH name. All right. Now we're going to test now let's go back to the steps we were at. We were like at step 16. We're going to let chat load. I'm going to just wait, let it load. All right, keep going. All right. All right, now we're going to use the command to list our bucket name. We got to put our bucket name. So we're going to check the right bucket, make sure it has the role. To get the bucket, we could go back to S3 and look at buckets. What do we name it again? Oh, here it is. Demetrius, day 4, cloud. This name right here. We'll copy that and just paste it. All right, so I actually didn't see anything. We never uploaded it. We never upload the object. So let's actually upload the object real quick. Step 16. I was never told to upload the .txt object. Should I have done that already? Just making sure. Just want to make sure we got all the steps right. Oh, this is step 3. It told me to do it. I don't believe you. I don't believe you, cuz. Let's go see. Let's see. Let's look at step 3 and see if it actually told me. I'm very curious. Because I am great when it comes to attention to detail. And I don't believe I missed that. But in the meantime, we just uploaded it. And I'm going to rerun that command. And we should see it. There it is. There it is. Day 4 .txt as we expected, but then we're going to do a cat to actually see it, to see the contents in this. It says no such file. Something's going on. Let's go look at step 3 real quick, make sure we ain't messing. Oh my god. It did say it. Doom, doom, doom. I must have skipped it. Yeah, I did skip it. But cat didn't work, so I'm curious why. Cat didn't work because our EC2, our file is still in S3, not on your EC2's local file system yet. So we stored it in the bucket, but we never put it in the EC2. Did you tell me to do that? Did you ever tell me to do that? Because you asked me to do cat, assuming I get the contents within my SSH EC2 instance. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna add this file. We're gonna copy it from our S3 into our EC2 instance. Alright, cool. Just copied it, and now we're gonna do a cat, and we see what we need to see. Perfect. So let's go back to our steps. Whenever it loads, we'll see what we need to see and be able to continue. Alright, back a little bit. Wait, did you tell, bro? Why am I seeing steps that I didn't see prior? Hello? Alright. I'll do it. You're welcome. Bye. Okay, so it did tell me to do it here. Chat, am I missing steps? I didn't see this part. Why am I tripping? Let me read it. Did I mess up? Okay. Okay. We'll just pay more attention here. Alright, so create a file from EC2. So now we're doing that. All right. Now we're going to check it. There it goes. Now we're going to do this. We are now uploading the EC2 file into S3. We need to add our bucket name. So now we're doing the reverse. Since we created the EC2 file within our EC2, we're uploading it into our S3 bucket. So this is literally what we're doing right now. I'm gonna run this again. Gonna copy our bucket name. Paste it here. There it is. Enter. All right. Valid bucket name. We'll get rid of that then. Huh. Oh, I see. I copied a little too much. There we go. We see both files. Great. So what we did, let's just review a little bit. So we created an IAM role to the EC2 instance. We verified the EC2 assumed the role. We confirmed that, and then we listed the contents within our bucket. So you could see that we had our text file that we uploaded it manually, and then we downloaded the bucket object into the EC2. So then we seen the contents within that file, and we created a file directly from the EC2. So as you can see, we downloaded the object from our S3 into our EC2. That showed that the S3 buckets files could be downloaded into our computer, and then we created a file on the EC2 instance, and we're uploading that into the bucket. That's what we just did now. Stop and understand what just happened. You did not run AWS configure. You did not manually place the access key or the secret access key on the server. Instead, we created an EC2 our EC2 instance was assigned an IAM instance profile, which then was given an IAM role, which had temporary credentials within the AWS CLI, and then that communicated with the S3 bucket. This is the preferred pattern for an AWS workload. So now we're gonna inspect our temporary role credentials within this EC2. So we're gonna see, we should see the role name. Let me go fix this dryer. Alright, the curl didn't provide any information. Let's see if this does. All right, so there we see. I'm gonna be honest. I don't see the role name. I'm not sure what's going on in these steps. Yeah, I'm a little confused on step 21. Let's get a little verification. Oh, so wait, did it print it actually? No, I don't see it. You do see the role name. It's just jammed directly against your shell prompt because curl didn't print a new line. Day 4, EC2, S3, role. Oh, it showed me it right here. Oh, I did not notice that. But it did not do that prior to me adding the token. I had to add the token. Okay, I see it now. It's before our EC2 instance name. Okay. So let's go back to rule 20 or step 21 and proceed because I do see it now. We're doing good tonight, y'all. Not gonna lie. Okay, next we're gonna run this command to see our temporary credential information. Okay, so this actually exposed a lot. Exposed our access key and our secret key, which isn't really that good for security reasons because I'm recording this. So I'm gonna have to rotate those keys after this video. But again, it is just temporary credentials. Alright, that's fine. But at the end, I will definitely destroy it. Alright, so now we're going to break stuff. Because as you can see, we assigned the IAM role to our EC2 instance. We then was able to download files from an S3 bucket and upload files into an S3 bucket. We then checked the IAM role from the console itself. And we checked the temporary permissions or credentials that this IAM role has. All right, now we're gonna actually break these things and break down this lab. So we're gonna go IAM, back to IAM, policies, day 4, least privilege policy that we created. We're gonna edit it, and we're gonna remove get S3. Bro, this isn't my way. No. Which one is that? I can't see because of this. Alright, let's see. No. Just get object. I want to get rid of get object. Boom. And then that's that. I'm gonna save it. Well, let's make sure it wants me to save it that way. Okay, so we will save it. There you go, that's a better view. Alright, so you just got rid of it. Back on the EC2, we're going to try to remove the file. That we created. So now we're going to try to copy that. I have to put the bucket name here. Go back to our EC2, or S3, excuse me. Get the bucket name. Here it is right here. Paste it here. And we are gonna run that. We did not get access denied. Oh. Bro, how do you finish saving it? It's like I did save it. So I never technically save it. So note that Command S does not actually save it. And now we're gonna run that test. Alright, perfect. Now it says forbidden. That's what we were planning to see. So I just never saved it. That's why I got a little confused for a second. But we're good now because we proceeded and then we ended up saving it. Let's go back to the steps. We're on step like 22 or 23 now. Whenever it loads, we'll give it a second. Right. We're gonna notice that LS still works. So we're seeing what's in the bucket. No, it actually says access denied. Chat thought it wouldn't work, or it would work. Let's show what happened. Okay, let's read it. Yep, now the break test worked exactly like it's supposed to. This is the key line fatal error. An error occurred when calling the head object forbidden. That happened after you remove the role. So remove the S3 GetObject from the role policy, so your EC2 instance still has the role, still authenticates successfully, but no longer has permission to read that object. And this one also makes sense. AccessDenied is not authorized to perform list all my buckets because AWS S3 tries to list all buckets in the account, which requires list all buckets. Your least privilege policy never granted that, so it's actually another successful least privilege test. The important distinction is AWS S3 lists all buckets, while AWS S3 lists within that bucket. Let's see if that works. And it still does. Okay. Great. We're all good. They're temporary. They're going to expire anyways. That's why this could go on YouTube and we have no problem. Let's talk about those keys that I exposed earlier. All right, let's go back to the steps. Can I SSH into EC2? Of course. Does AWS CLI work? Yes, we're using it. Does the EC2 instance have a role? It does. It has least privilege. Can STS identify the role? AWS Identity STS? Yes, it can. We did that. Can I list the bucket? Yes, we can. Not all buckets, though. Can I download an object? No, we cannot because we got rid of GetObject. And that's the permission that controls object downloads is GetObject. Therefore, IAM authorization problem is not networking, not DNS, not Linux, not an S3 outage. It's IAM. Now we're going to go back to the policy and fix it. We're going to add the we're going to add it back. Okay. S3, we're going to add it here. I'm going to just actually copy this line. Press enter. And then boom. We're not going to save it like how we did last time. We're going to go to next. Save changes. Then we're going to re-enter the test. We're going to copy the file into our we're going to copy it from our S3 bucket back to our EC2. I need the bucket name again. So we're going to go back to S3. Day 4 bucket. We're going to save, or enter, I mean. Then we're going to test if the contents are still within it. And there it is. So now we're going to break the resource again. We're going to change the object resource from a wrong bucket name. So that's within our policy. We're going to go back to IAM. And we're going to change the resource name within the policy just to show how important that policy is. I mean, the resource name, having the correct resource name is. So let's do that. We're going to just change this to day 5. Why not? We're gonna keep everything else, and then we're gonna redo that same test. This is gonna show that you need the correct resource name. We're gonna name this test 2. So we're calling this file test 2 because we already saved it test 1, but this should fail. Whoa. It passed. Why did it pass? Oh, I see. Because we put it in the wrong spot. Let's change this back. That's just listing the specific bucket, but to download and stuff like that, the resource is down there. Okay, we learned something. I get it. Save. Then we're going to do that one more time. I'm going to name this test 3, actually. Or can we keep it test 2? Whatever, overwrite it. Let's just see. Error occurred. Nice. So now we're going to name it back. Put the correct name, which is day 4. And we're going to go down to save. And we're going to run this bucket. We're going to run this. We never really granted it. Exactly, that did fail. We already seen that earlier. And then this will work because it's the bucket that we granted our permission to. So this is a great least privilege demonstration. We do not need permission to list every bucket just because our application needs to access one bucket. That's a different role. Understand these 4 pieces. Effect, that's allow or deny. Your action is GetObject, the other actions you have, and then resource. So effect is allow, deny, what is the policy doing, action, GetObject, what API operation may the principal perform, and then your resource is within here. We have AWS S3 and it's a bucket. So principal, you'll commonly see this in things like trust policies, bucket policies, resource-based policies. It identifies who the policy applies to. So explicit deny beats allow. Explicit deny beats allow. So, for example, suppose one policy says allow S3 GetObject, but another applicable policy says deny S3 GetObject. The result is denied. IAM does not say 1 allow plus 1 deny equals maybe. Explicit deny always wins. So if there's a deny policy, there's a deny within one of your policies, the deny is going to win. Like if 2 policies have GetObject and GetObject, and both of those policies are attached to the same EC2 instance, the deny will win. So deny overrides. So this is what we built today. AWS, we built a S3 bucket that uploaded a file to it. We had an EC2 instance that we already had. We SSH'd into it. We gave it an IAM instance profile. We gave it a role. Well, within the IAM instance profile, we created an IAM instance, and then we gave the role. Well, we gave the EC2 instance the IAM instance profile, and then we created the IAM role. And then it was a least privilege policy, and those communicated with the S3 bucket. Interview question 1, why use an IAM role instead of access keys on EC2? The reason is the IAM role allows the EC2 workload to obtain temporary credentials automatically instead of storing long-lived access keys on the server. That reduces critical exposure, and AWS handles credential rotation for the workload. Good. What is least privilege? Least privilege means granting only the actions and resources required for a workload to perform its intended function rather than granting broad permissions such as administrator access or full S3 access. What's the difference between a trust policy and a permissions policy? A trust policy determines which principal or AWS service can assume the role. A permission policy determines what actions the role is authorized to perform after it has been assumed. So the trust policy determines which principal or AWS services can assume the role. S3s, EC2s, what can assume it. But the permissions policy determines exactly what actions the role is authorized to perform after it has been assumed. So trust policy, you get that to the instance or the principal or the AWS service, and then the permissions policy lets you know exactly what that role can do. Suppose EC2 can list objects in an S3 but cannot download them. What would you check? We want to see if it can do the GetObject. You should immediately start thinking S3 ListBucket exists. GetObject may be missing. Also check the object ARN, the bucket policy, explicit deny, SCP, cadence permissions if encrypted. But the first place today is the role permissions. Your day 4 command sheet. These are the commands I want you to get comfortable with. AWS version, AWS STS get caller identity, AWS S3 LS the bucket. So you're seeing what's in the bucket, your specific bucket. This is the copy command. Copies your S3 file into a bucket, or excuse me. Let's break this down. The command downloads a single file named day4text from the specified Amazon S3 bucket into your current local working directory. So we downloaded that into our EC2 instance. So we told it, AWS, go to our S3, and then download this exact bucket name or this exact file within this bucket. Cat day4text, open the file, echo wrote on the file. This command, we let's explain it. So this is the upload command from your EC2 to a S3 bucket. Okay. So right here it says from EC2 to the S3 bucket. And then this just lists the contents within your S3 bucket, specific bucket. All right. All right. We just did all that and we are good. We usually do a 10-question quiz. Let's see if it comes with one. No, I'm done with all steps. We usually do quiz. Is one necessary today? Alright, so we're going to do our 10-question quiz, and then that is it. Why is an IAM role generally preferred over storing long-lived access keys on an EC2 instance? Because it gives the roles provide temporary credentials that AWS can rotate automatically. Why does an IAM role trust policy primarily? What does it primarily determine? It determines the who can assign the role. Which principal or AWS service can assume the role? Which S3 permission is required to list the objects inside one specific S3 bucket? That would be S3 ListBucket. Which resource ARN correctly targets every object inside the bucket? So /star. So we're gonna make sure we're paying attention. So we're talking bucket, so we're talking S3, it'll be here. An EC2 role has an S3 list bucket for a bucket, but does not have S3 GetObject. What is expected results? It cannot download. There you go. It can list objects, but it cannot download. What does the command AWS STS get caller identity help verify an EC2 instance? It verifies the identity assigned to that EC2 instance. Why can AWS S3 LS fail with access denied while AWS S3 LS S3 Demetrius blah 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 succeed with the bucket? Succeed because we have assigned the role to that specific bucket, not to all buckets. There it goes right there. That's pretty much what I just said. What best describes the principle of least privilege? Grant only the actions and resources required for the workload's job. An EC2 role has S3 GetObject, but its policy resource points to ARN S3 fake bucket. The application tries to download from Demetrius. What should happen? It should say like forbidden, or it should fail. If one applicable IAM policy allows S3 GetObject and another applicable policy contains an explicit deny, deny always wins. There we go. Perfect score. We got all 10 right. That's 10. We got 10 out of 10 day 1, 9 out of 9 day 2, or 9 out of 10, then 9 out of 10 day 3, the 10 out of 10 day 4. We're doing good, y'all. Thank you, everyone, and that is it. On to day 5 tomorrow.